Hello everyone, I'm Scott and you're watching Your Experience Guide. In this video today, I'm going to talk about Alton Towers and the negativity surrounding the park as we head towards the 2025 season. As I'm sure many people will have seen, there has been cuts to the staffing at Alton Towers, including those that worked in Merlin Magic Making. Entertainment has been cut, opening hours have been reduced at times, and there is also the concerns of another year of the ride availability issues that we saw in 2024. So I thought I'd give my opinions on some of the news that's come out around the park as we head towards the new season. And it's not going to be all negative. I'm going to try and be as objective and fair as possible as I look at what's going on or what's being reported at the park. The news about Merlin Magic Making came out around the end of last year. So I'm not going to focus on that so much because it has been discussed at length by other outlets, other YouTube channels and so on. I'm more going to look at the entertainment cuts that have been reported at Alton Towers lately, which is going to mean less entertainment around the park, of course. And that for me is a real sad thing, because when I think about Alton Towers in 2023 and 2024, one of the highlights for me at the park across both of those seasons was the entertainment factor. When you think about the curse of Alton Manor and that area, throughout all of 2023 and all of 2024, or most of 2024, there was always actors in that area interacting with guests. It didn't matter whether you were going on the ride or not, they still interacted with you. And it was always a great interaction, and it just added something special to the day, something different. You know, it just gave a little bit of human interaction with some good characters who were great in their roles, who added something, an immersion to that area of the park. But are we now going to go back to when it was dual, when you're just going to walk past there and it's going to be, well, the ride is there, but there's nothing else going on? Because that would be a real shame if that's the case, and I really hope that isn't the case. But it could well be with the cuts to entertainment. And it's not just at the Curse at Alton Manor. I'm thinking about in Forbidden Valley too. One of the highlights of the early part of the 2024 season was walking down to Nemesis Reborn, and there being so many characters in that area. Members of the Phalanx, campaigners against the Phalanx, all different characters that were part of the Nemesis Reborn story. They added something extra to that area. You weren't just walking to a roller coaster, you were walking into an immersive area of a theme park where you would get different interactions every time. And it wasn't just a case of a standard, I'm going to walk to this ride and I'm going to do it. On your way there, you got a different interaction from a different character. When you'd been on the ride, you got different interactions off the characters again, or different characters as you were heading around Forbidden Valley. If that has been taken away from the park experience in 2025, it will be a massive shame, and it will make the guest experience a lot worse than it was in 2024, unfortunately. So the opening times for Alton Towers in 2025 have recently been published, and there's some interesting things to look at on there. Most notably, there is going to be one less night of fireworks. It would appear that the Friday has been cut from the fireworks lineup, and it will now only be the Saturday and Sunday at the end of the season when the fireworks nights are taking place. The Friday was always a good day to go if you wanted to do lots of rides before watching the fireworks. The park was never as busy because obviously it's a Friday, people are at work, people are in school, people are in college. They just couldn't get to Alton Towers, whereas the Saturday and Sunday are always rammed, as you would expect. But the Friday, especially in the daytime, was a good time to go on the rides. But now there's going to be no real incentive to go at all on that Friday. Also, from looking at the calendar, it would appear that there will be no Oktoberfest in 2025. Now here comes a bit of a controversial opinion. I couldn't care less about Oktoberfest at Alton Towers. It does not appeal to me. As somebody that drives to theme parks and does not drink alcohol in a theme park ever, I could not care less about Oktoberfest as an event at Alton Towers or in any theme park that you have to drive to and are not going to stay over at. For me, staying over at Alton Towers just so I can have a beer, no chance, not interested. Whereas if it works for me at Blackpool, because there is literally hotels everywhere, you can get public transport to Blackpool easily, you can enjoy Oktoberfest without the fear of thinking, I'm driving home. So for me, Oktoberfest at Alton Towers never really worked. The entertainment side of it with the characters and stuff around the launch, that was great. The shows were decent, but actually just sitting in a theme park getting drunk all day, it's not for me. It's just not my thing. So for me, Oktoberfest being cut, couldn't care less about that event, to be honest, so I'm not disappointed. I appreciate that that might be a controversial opinion, but for me, Oktoberfest, Alton Towers just did not work. Didn't see the point of it. Really not disappointed to see that taken off, but would like to see the money that was going into it invested into Scarefest or something else at the park, so there is some form of entertainment around the park throughout the season. In terms of rides and attractions, obviously last year the Sky Ride was shut all season, and for me it is absolutely vital that Alton Towers get that open from day one, and it is open all season. It is a massive park. There is a lot of people who attend Alton Towers in wheelchairs or who struggle to walk long distances, so they need the Sky Ride open. The park should prioritise getting that open for opening weekend and all of the season. Luckily, it has been testing. Hopefully, it will be open all of the season. And then, of course, there was Hex. It did reopen towards the end of the season. It then closed again and then reopened again. For me, not a lot had changed with it, but it was good to see it back open. It's one more ride for people to do and to absorb the crowds from different areas of the park. Now, of course, unexpectedly, Blade's removal was announced after the season had finished. Luckily, it isn't a case of one ride going from Forbidden Valley and nothing going in. There is the new ride Toxicator going in. My thoughts on that are they're not my type of ride, so I will probably watch it rather than ride it. Those type of top spin rides, they're just not for me. I don't tend to do them in whatever park I visit, so it's not a sort of dig at Alton Towers or anything. I just don't like them. I think the last time I went on Ripsaw was 2007. I think it was a long time after that it was removed from the park. So whilst everyone is, of course, disappointed about the cuts to Merlin Magic Making, to entertainment, to opening hours, and concerned about ride availability, it can still be a good season in 2025, but ride availability has to be better than it was in 2024, especially from around the middle of the season onwards. For me personally, I had some fantastic visits to Alton Towers in 2024. It was the best year to visit in a long time, but it was noticeable as the season went on how much the ride availability was becoming a problem. Now, on a lot of days when I wasn't there, I was seeing stuff online where people were posting that all of the big coasters were closed, or most of the major attractions were closed, or there was one train operations on things that were open. In my opinion, Alton Towers really do need to prioritise making sure that we do not see a repeat of the 2024 or towards the end of the 2024 season ride availability issues where we saw so many rides being down for such long periods of time. Of course, downtime happens in any park in the world. You could go to Cedar Point, Universal Orlando, anywhere in the world, and there will be ride downtime. But when it's constantly happening on a daily basis, there is clearly a problem and something that needs to be looked at and fixed to avoid it happening all the time. Hopefully those problems have been identified in the close season and that we won't see those issues again in 2025 at Towers. So with all this said, I still think it can be a good season at Alton Towers in 2025, but for that to happen, ride availability has to be a lot better than 2024, and I hope it will be. I really do hope it is. Also, ride throughputs and ride capacity has to be at its best and as good as can be. And hopefully, catering is better than it was in 2024. Not all of the catering at Alton Towers was bad, but some of it was bad, some of it was okay, some of it was good. It can definitely be improved upon for 2025, and for me, that can only be a good thing if that happens. However, I appreciate that that is not fully under the control of Alton Towers. Something positive to look at for the 2025 season is the return of the VIP experiences, including Wicker Man and Oblivion. If you want to do a lift walk on those coasters, you want to learn about how those coasters work and are operated and looked after and so on, those are the type of events for you. They're good, fun events to do at any park where you get to see behind the scenes, do a lift climb, and so on. They're definitely things to be positive about at Alton Towers in 2025. This video may be a little bit on the short side, maybe a little bit on the negative side, But here on Your Experience Guide, we are always going to report honestly about our experiences at Alton Towers and every single theme park that we visit in the world. We've been doing this for a long time. Honesty is always the best policy, and I look forward to seeing many more honest reviews from Alton Towers in 2025. Before I finish this video, I would just like to say on behalf of Your Experience Guide that we wish everybody well that was part of Merlin Magic Making and or is part of Alton Towers / Merlin Entertainment side of the business. We appreciate it's going to be a tough time going forward with all the uncertainty, and we wish you all of the best going forward. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It's a little thumbs up below. Please subscribe, please comment. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.